American and European involvement in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. NATO's role. Introduction. The conflict in Ukraine, sparked by Russia's invasion in February 2022, has not only drawn significant global attention, but also provoked a complex response from the United States, European nations, and NATO. This script examines the multifaceted involvement of these entities, exploring the political, military, and humanitarian dimensions of their engagement, as well as the implications for international relations and security. American involvement. Political and diplomatic efforts. From the onset of the conflict, the United States positioned itself as a leader in the international response to Russian aggression. In the months leading up to the invasion, U.S. intelligence services provided detailed assessments of Russia's military buildup, sharing critical information with allies and Ukraine. This proactive approach not only aimed to prepare Ukraine, but also to unite the Western allies against potential Russian expansionism. Following the invasion, President Joe Biden and his administration implemented a comprehensive strategy of sanctions targeting Russia's economy, oligarchs, and key sectors, such as energy. These measures were designed to isolate Russia diplomatically and economically, signaling that aggressive actions would have severe repercussions. Military support to Ukraine. The United States quickly transitioned from a supportive role to active military involvement by providing Ukraine with advanced weaponry and military aid. This included defensive weapons. The U.S. supplied Javelin anti-tank missiles, Stinger surface-to-air missiles, and drones, which significantly enhanced Ukraine's defensive capabilities. Intelligence sharing. U.S. intelligence agencies provided real-time intelligence to Ukrainian forces, aiding them in targeting Russian positions and anticipating enemy movements. Training and support. Beyond immediate military aid, the U.S. began training Ukrainian troops, enhancing their operational effectiveness. Humanitarian assistance. In addition to military support, the U.S. also committed substantial resources to humanitarian efforts, providing aid to millions of Ukrainians displaced by the conflict. This included food, medical supplies, and financial assistance to support refugees fleeing to neighboring countries. European involvement, collective response. European nations played a crucial role in responding to the crisis, with the European Union, EU, and NATO leading the charge in unifying efforts against Russian aggression. The EU quickly imposed a series of sanctions, restricting trade, freezing assets, and banning exports to Russia. These actions reflected a commitment to upholding international law and defending Ukraine's sovereignty. Military aid and cooperation. European countries, particularly those in Eastern Europe, provided critical military support to Ukraine. Key contributions included weapons and ammunition. Nations such as Poland, the Baltic states, and the Czech Republic sent significant quantities of military supplies, including artillery, ammunition, and armored vehicles. Training and logistics. European countries also stepped up training missions for Ukrainian forces, offering logistical support to enhance Ukraine's military capacity. Humanitarian efforts. The humanitarian response from Europe was robust. European nations welcomed millions of Ukrainian refugees, offering shelter, healthcare, and integration programs. The EU mobilized resources to support humanitarian organizations working on the ground in Ukraine and in neighboring countries. NATO's role. Strengthening collective defense. NATO's response to the invasion was marked by a renewed focus on collective defense. The alliance activated defense plans and increased military presence in Eastern Europe, sending additional troops to member states bordering Ukraine, such as Poland and the Baltic nations. This move aimed to reassure Eastern European allies and deter further Russian aggression. Enhanced readiness and military exercises. In the wake of the invasion, NATO conducted a series of military exercises to demonstrate its readiness and resolve. These exercises served to bolster the defensive posture of member states and enhance interoperability among NATO forces, sending a clear signal to Russia that any aggression against NATO members would be met with a unified response. Support for Ukraine. While NATO did not intervene directly in the conflict, the alliance provided political and practical support to Ukraine. NATO Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg emphasized the importance of Ukraine's sovereignty and territorial integrity, and NATO countries collectively provided military and humanitarian aid. Challenges and implications. The risk of escalation. The involvement of the U.S. and European nations, while aimed at supporting Ukraine, raised concerns about the potential for escalation. Russia viewed Western support as a direct threat, warning of severe consequences if NATO were to intervene militarily. This delicate balance required careful navigation by Western leaders to avoid direct conflict while still providing robust support to Ukraine. A shifting geopolitical landscape. The conflict has had profound implications for international relations, shifting the balance of power in Europe. It underscored the importance of NATO as a security alliance and prompted discussions about expanding NATO's presence and membership. Finland and Sweden, traditionally non-aligned, expressed interest in joining NATO, signaling a potential shift in the security architecture of Europe. Unity and division within Europe. While the response to the invasion united many European countries, differing perspectives on military support and sanctions emerged. Countries like Germany faced internal debates regarding military aid, highlighting the challenges of consensus building within the EU. Nonetheless, the overall commitment to supporting Ukraine remained strong. Conclusion. The American and European involvement in the Russia-Ukraine conflict, underpinned by NATO's strategic role, has highlighted the complexities of modern geopolitics. As the conflict continues to evolve, the West's response reflects a commitment to collective security, humanitarian principles, and the defense of democratic values. The implications of this involvement extend beyond Ukraine, reshaping alliances, altering global power dynamics, and underscoring the necessity for a unified approach to addressing threats to international stability. As the world watches, the actions taken today will undoubtedly influence the future of global security and cooperation for years to come.